Well, hello everyone. One of the things that I have found is that public speaking gets easier with practice. And one of the things that has become obvious to me is that all you need is the combination to the lock. And if you know the combination to the lock will open for you. So let's explore some of the best practices and see if there are any gems that open the lock for you. Can we make public speaking easier? I hope you will find these suggestions helpful as you increase your comfort at the front of the room. So what's the first thing that you can do? The first thing, most important thing that you can do is know your audience. If you find yourself speaking in front of a group of people, there's obviously a reason why. There's a reason why that you're there. So before you begin, consider who are you speaking to and what do they want or need to take away from your time addressing them. What do you want them to remember from your speech? What call to action will you have in your speech that they will take away and they will take action on? Those are the important things when you know your audience. And if you're speaking in front of friends and family, entertain them with stories and jokes or light jabs about loved ones. But if you're addressing professionals at a corporate event, teach and inspire them with your knowledge and your passion. Speaking to a room full of kindergartner children is different than speaking to a room full of high schoolers. Know who's in your audience and adjust your speech accordingly. Rehearse repeatedly. You have a big speech coming up. Make sure that every day you rehearse it. Most importantly, prepare your main goals and focus on how you'll word them. You don't want to walk away and realize that, oh, I forgot that main event, that main point. Practice while driving in the car, while brushing your teeth. That'd be interesting. While showering, whatever works for you. Practice with distractions around you. Remember, your lines are easy when you're alone in total silence, but what about when there are other sounds and people around? Practice while you're pushing your child on a swing at the playground or while walking your dog. Your dog will always listen. Or practice with the TV on in the background, just to have a distraction and see if you can work through it. Get familiar with your environment, especially if you're going to give a contest speech. Practice your speech in that venue where you'll be giving it. And if that's not possible, physically get up on the stage and just walk around the stage and before you give the speech and spend some time in the room near the area where you'll be speaking. Visualize yourself giving that speech in front of the room. This will help you get a feel for the room and channel the vibe the space is giving off to you. Practice in front of an audience. Rehearsing by yourself is great, but speaking in front of an audience is better. You get to see the reaction and you can adjust accordingly. Ask friends and family if you can practice your speech while they're preparing dinner or while you're getting ready for bed or while you're getting ready in the morning. Ask your coworkers if they can practice during a coffee break. They'll probably be glad to get a distraction from work. Doesn't matter if they give you 100% of their attention. Just speaking in the presence of others is helpful. Practice your body language. Nonverbal communication carries most of your message, so practice your speech in front of a mirror and work on omitting nervous gestures. When giving your speech, stand with both feet firmly on the ground and use your hands for modest gesturing. Take a look at this TED Talk, and if it will help you boost your confidence. The TED Talk is by Amy Cuddy. Your body language may shape who you are, and not just mentally, get confident. Physically get confident. Try standing like a superhero. You can even wear a superhero t-shirt under your clothes just to remind you to boost your confidence. Now, you're not going to give a speech like you're standing like Superman, but before you start, stand like a superhero and build your confidence. Make eye contact. Most people ask, what do I look like when I speak? Well, you have several options. You can either choose several people in the audience that you want to make eye contact with, or you can look around the perimeter of the back of the room, but try not to look up or down or look at your hands. Best to keep looking at people, even if you have to pause before you continue. Slow it down. When you're anxious, we have a tendency to speak quickly. And when we've taken the time and energy, prepare and practice a speech, you want your words to make an impact with the audience. So practice speaking your words slower than you normally would. People want you to succeed while you're speaking, but the more you rush it, the more you will turn them off. Don't be afraid of pauses. Similarly to slowing down your speech, make it a point to take long pauses between points. Let the point sink in. Remember that when you're on the spot, 3 seconds of silence can feel like 3 minutes. So hold your pauses for longer than you feel comfortable, longer than you feel is appropriate to make your point get home. Pausing can have a great impact on emphasizing key points and emotionally connecting with the audience. You might want to take a look at some speeches by Barack Obama. Regardless of what you think of his politics, it's widely believed that he's one of the greatest orators of our time, our modern time, that is, and he pauses a lot in his speeches. Or look for others. There's some great speakers out there, even in the past. We have videos of them. Go look. If you go quiet for a moment, take a long, deep breath, the audience will wait for you. Practice projecting your voice. Some people have a voice, I do, that can naturally project to the back of the room. If you're not one of these people, practice speaking loudly and clearly. Use your singing voice, like when you're at a concert. And here's some advice. You can listen to this TED Talk by Carolyn Goyder. She's a voice coach and actress, and she has some great things to say. Vocal variety is a great way to make parts of your speech stand out. Practice the variations of this sentence I'm going to show you. By emphasizing on the highlighted word, your sentence becomes a completely different meaning each time. And gestures help to complete the picture with your audience. I feel that vocal variety and gestures just naturally go together. Carolyn Goyder told you in her talk that protecting your voice requires your complete body action. Your lungs, your diaphragm, your arms, your body language. They should all match and emphasize what you're saying as well. So let's try these sentences. Are you speaking to me? 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 So you can see different meaning each time, and so it depends on your vocal variety and your emphasis to get your meaning across. So I want you to try those sentences yourself and try practicing each one to understand the use of vocal variety. Humor and emotion. Humor is usually something that everyone can chuckle at, but no matter your joke, test it out first with others to see what sort of reaction you get. Don't be afraid of sharing your stories and experiences. Audience appreciate a personal story. as long as you stay on purpose. Be sure you watch your audience for feedback and adapt to the reactions that you're getting. So as you speak, you watch your audience to gauge their reactions. Stay flexible. If they seem bored, inject some humor. If they seem confused, reel in your message and repeat it in more simple terms. Ignore the naysayer. Sometimes your message doesn't click with everyone, and that's okay. If you're saying something controversial that some people don't agree with, dismiss the furrowed brows and crossed arms and focus your attention at the people who are visibly engaged in your presentation and nodding yes at your words. Start on a great note to start. How do you feel when someone starts a speech with, "Today, I'm going to talk about the weather"? It doesn't really capture your attention, does it? Instead, start off by asking a question, as I did, sharing a startling statistic, an interesting story, or a quotation that's important to your speech. Remember, whatever you say, you want your first words to capture everyone's attention. Dress for success. Dress appropriate for your audience. Wear your favorite colors. That's what I do. And look your best. Remember, wear that superhero t-shirt under everything. Before you go on stage, prepare yourself mentally and physically. It's not nervousness, it's excitement. Stand in your superhero, Superman or Wonder Woman pose for a moment on stage and feel your strength, as Amy Cuddy talked about. Don't speak right away. A lot of people start talking as soon as they step on stage. And it's because they're nervous. This communicates insecurity and makes the audience feel awkward too. Instead, take a few minutes to scan the room. Find your place on stage, take a deep breath, find your confidence, and get comfortable. It might feel excruciating, but the audience will feel that you're more comfortable, more confident, and in charge of the situation. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. Use your slides wisely. If you're using images to accompany your speech, use them sparingly and choose aesthetically pleasing and simple graphics. Be sure that everyone in the room can see them. If you want to share a statistic, don't choose a detailed line graph. Opt for a big simple pie graph or a bold bar chart. The simpler the better. Additionally, take the time to test your equipment before you speak so that you don't get caught up and distracted if your PowerPoint starts acting up. Turn that nervousness into excitement. Signs of nervousness are often feel the same way in your body as excitement does. So tap into your thoughts and remind yourself that what you're feeling, symptoms such as sweaty hands or an increased heart rate, are just your body getting excited. When in doubt, take a deep breath and remind yourself, I'm not nervous, I'm excited. Don't read directly from a script unless you have to. Reading directly from a script or slideshow can make your words seem impersonal. It can make you seem less confident. When you practice your speech, use an outline with the main points written out in order. Whatever you can do, don't write out every word you plan to say, because you probably will improvise. This can make you feel more overwhelmed than you have to be. There is one exception to the rule, however. Giving a specific speech, a eulogy. When delivering a eulogy, it's okay to write down every word and thought in detail. This is because delivering an eulogy at a funeral or memorial, somebody that you know, can be very difficult The speaker has the challenge of dealing with their own grief while simultaneously communicating to an audience in an effective and heartfelt way. So here's some tips. Limit your speech to cover just 2 or 3 main points. It's impossible to sum up a person's complete life in a few minutes, so don't even try. Instead, focus on major personality traits and things that the person will be remembered for. Share meaningful stories, anecdotes, and quotes by the person. Make it inspiring, help the audience deal with the occasion. Similarly, if you're going to accept an award, we've all seen the best actors and actresses get flustered as they accept an award. Why? Because it can be difficult. So here are some tips from Toastmasters International. Show your personality. Your acceptance speech should come from your heart, be yourself, and that's why you've won the award. Be gracious. Acknowledge your team. Acknowledge your competitors and thank the organization that selected you to receive the award. Show excitement. Simply make it clear to the audience that you're happy to have won the award. Be modest. Your speech should be heartfelt, not self-congratulatory. Rehearse if possible. Practice your speech with a timer and keep it to a set amount of time, like any speech, like any good Toastmaster would. Another time is when you're introducing another speaker. It may seem simple, introducing someone to speak, but it can still be intimidating. Some tips for delivering thoughtful introductions. Don't steal the show and keep your introduction under 60 seconds and speak only on topics that are related to the speaker. Grab the audience's attention with a humorous anecdote, an impressive milestone that the speaker has achieved, or an inspiring quote. Briefly mention the topic the speaker will talk about. We do not reveal too much. Establish the speaker's authority and expertise as the SME, the subject matter expert. Always remember to say thank you when you're done. Your audience gave you their time and hopefully are giving you their applause. So thank them for their gift. Here are some of the resources that I used to put this, presentation together. If you want a copy of this page, so you can look at these resources, please send me an email, and my email address I will include at the end of this talk. 2 at the bottom are the TED Talks by Carolyn Goyder and Amy Cuddy. So thank you so much for taking the time out today to join me. I absolutely love getting to chat with you all, and I hope that each of you have learned something valuable. I also want to add how proud I am that each of you for taking the steps to becoming a better speaker and more effective speaker. Remember these 3 points. If you remember nothing else, go with confidence and excitement, dressed for success. Select important points. Highlight them with vocal variety and gestures, and show your passion for the topic. Use your playground or singing voice to project to the audience. If you have any further questions, you can email me at yourrewirementforsuccess@gmail.com. If you want any slides from this presentation, or you want the slide with the the TED Talks or the resources that I used, just send me a request at yourrewirementforsuccess@gmail.com. and I will send that out to you. Thanks again for being here. Bye for now.